Okay. So far, I haven't got real angry. Pretty good. Yeah, the video before this, these all have the similar title. It's about cancer. I don't have it. I'm just talking about it. I'll just do it this way. This is a product. It's a Merck product. The brand is Panicure. Yeah, Panicure. I don't typically use this one. Panicure. Yeah, I can never pronounce this. Fenbendazole. Okay, you see how fast it sounds better, but Fenbendazole. This is a dewormer equine. This is for horses. 10% paste. Okay, I don't usually normally use this brand. There's another brand I typically use. I use this for my goats and my sheep. Okay, I don't use a lot of wormers, but we use one this time. You do a different one the next time. But I worm I hardly ever worm, so it really doesn't matter what I use. I don't have to rotate it like I used to. Okay, I've also used this with dogs. You can buy the same product where you get products for your dogs. It's just a canine dewormer. I don't know if they use it on cats, but just every farm animal they got out here I can put on this. Typically I use ivermectin. And why do I bring this up? I pointed you to that previous video, a guy named Tibbins, okay? And I believe he the guy's still alive, I think. There's a guy on YouTube making videos. I don't want to use the word cure, but he stopped his brain cancer. I believe he had brain tumors, okay? He stopped the cancer, okay? Doctors gave him 6 or 7 months to live. They did the radiation, did all the stuff. And they said, we've done all we can do. And he heard a story, someone said something about something, where they used a dog dewormer that had an effect on tumors, or the cancer, or whatever. So he started doing this. Taking this. I think he took it in a powdered form. You can buy the dog stuff, stick it in powder form, you put it over your dog food. It stopped his cancer. Okay. Now, one guy says something like this, you go, okay, whatever, how can that be? But there are a lot of people now on YouTube following this guy, and they're giving their testimonies where it is stopping their cancer. And I think many of these people deal with brain cancer. I haven't looked at all of them. But we have friends here in the YouTube community, our little community here, that have dealt with brain cancer. And everyone does it their way. I'm not critiquing anyone. But you have someone on YouTube and other people on YouTube that have stopped their brain cancer issue with this stuff. Now, some of you might say, "Oh, sell it. That's not real." Or, no, it's because you're not get that many people. It'd be a conspiracy to get this many people to. It's $8. Okay, it's not like there's some, conspiracy going on. But I've chased these topics a long time. I've always been interested in this stuff. Now, why am I bringing this up? You got a guy on YouTube that stopped his cancer using this stuff. Like I said in the previous video, maybe you've been in a position one day, you went to the doctor, he says, we think you have cancer, we need to act fast. You don't have time to go back and research all this for 6 months and come up with make a better decision. You need to have faith in us. We need to start you on this path, and we need to do it today. That sucks. First of all, I don't trust them. That's just me talking. I don't trust any of these people. I've seen too much. But I bring this up, I'm not telling anyone to do this. I bring this up to let you know that there are people out there that have left conventional medicine and have had success. It's not the only game in town. There's not just one. What conventional medicine typically has one path when dealing with these sorts of things. There's other paths. Okay? Now, I trust this guy that what he said, he took the stuff and it stopped his cancer. knowing the cancer that he has, I would not have done this. Okay, so I'm not knocking him. I would not have done this because he still has to take this all the time. Okay, to keep it at bay, but it's working. I think he's into it for 2 or 3 years or something. I would not have gone that route. I followed the. I've talked to the guy in the past to talk about Robert Morse, Dr. Robert Morse on YouTube. Okay, here on YouTube, and I've learned a ton from this guy. Now, why I don't have cancer? Why do I watch this stuff? Well, what if it happens someday? What if I have to deal with this someday? I am now in that position, like I talked about in the previous video. If for some reason I got it in my head, I'm going to go to a doctor because I got this thing or something like that. Maybe I want to get a picture took. Hey, show me what this is. And he says, hey, you've got this thing and we need to act now because we need to either cut it, radiate it, or chemo it. And we need to do this right now. I can look at the doctor and say, no, thank you. I got another path down. I got something else I'm doing. If that doesn't work, I'll come back and check you out. I don't have to fall into this urgent scheme that they have to get me on this path because of the knowledge that I have. I'm not super smart or anything like that, but because I've been interested in this topic long enough, I know there are other avenues out there. Okay, and when it comes to things like health in general, that's why I bring this up. That's why I bring a goofy story like this. I had this in my refrigerator. When the guy said he was using this, I've got this stuff I got some of this in my car. Because you always have when you're moving around, you got animals everywhere. You got to have stuff on you. But I bring this up because I have already. I'm always looking into these things, so I know where people have had, where things have, people have had success. Okay, and I've spent time looking at this stuff because it interests me. Okay, so if I was ever in that position to make that decision, I can say yes, no, maybe later. Okay, whereas a lot of people don't look at this stuff, and so if someday that thing comes to them, hey, you may have the big C or something like that, and they have to fall down and just by faith follow this person that told them that. Okay, we just recently had a customer here in my family. This woman was told that she had liver cancer. Bad. For 3 weeks, she figures this is it. 4th week, they told her they'd misdiagnosed her. They were very sorry. You say lawsuit? I mean, this woman, she was telling for 3 weeks, she was telling her family how, hey, this is, wrapping it up. These things happen. Luckily, God bless it, they misdiagnosed her as wrong, but still, it's a terrible thing to put that on somebody when they made a mistake, had nothing to do with her. She actually had nothing wrong with her. She might have had like a urinary tract infection, some strange other thing that she went in for pain. But beside the point, like I said in the previous video, you should be looking at some of these things. Let me look from a preventative point of view. I've learned a great deal from this Dr. Robert Morse. I think the title on the YouTube channel is Dr. Robert Morse ND. I'll put a link down below. Because now what I know about the lymphatic system, what its job is, and how we mess it up with our diet, I understand the issues of acidosis. I understand the relationship between the adrenals and our kidneys and how we mess them up. And how all these other symptoms that happen or something so we have some issue and the doctor says, oh, you have this disease, that, and here's what we need to do. And actually it's just a lymphatic issue or something with the kidneys and the adrenals are out of whack. And if we get that back in whack, everything else fixes itself. Many won't believe that. No one believes me anyway. That's okay. But if you take the time to examine some of the things that these people say, these survivors, and the things that they've done, you could at least make a better educated decision if and when this ever happens to you, or maybe a family member. And I'll put the link below. Like I said, Robert Morse. If you were to watch, he's a long-winded guy. He's a good old boy. He's a Trump-loving guy. Real conservative patriot and all this. But he gets far off in this spiritual stuff or whatever. You could avoid all that, whatever the case is. But if you watch his videos just long enough, they're usually an hour or two long, but you could just, occasionally turn something on and listen to it while you're doing something else. If you just listen long enough to understand what he's talking about when he talks about the lymphatic system and the kidneys and the adrenals, what he's talking about there. Once you understand what's going on with these three components, how the rest of the body is affected, and then understand how diet and nutrition falls into this, and how our typical diet as Americans just ruins this stuff. You don't have to believe him, but if you listen just long enough to figure that out, you could look at conventional medicine. You could look at the cancer industry with a completely different perspective. Okay, a completely different look that, I don't think that treatment's for me. I think I could do something else here. Anyhow, hopefully I made my point. I don't think I need to make a third video. You would be wise to look at cancer specifically from a preventative point of view, and not wait until maybe it happens to you. Just so that if it does happen to you, you can make a better decision of whether or not you want to trust and put your faith in a system, which is the conventional medicine, and head down that cancer path that they have. If you believe in that, hey, go for it. But I think you'd be better off, instead of putting faith in something that may not be in your best interest. The more you look at some of these alternative things, you can make a better decision. Another thing too that's you see a lot of medicine does is they'll talk about alternatives. When I say alternative medicine, I don't mean anything to do with conventional medicine. I'm not talking hospitals, and I don't care if you go do. You could go to Arizona and do a sweat lodge. Gee, Seller, why would I do that? Because it promotes the movement of your lymphatic system. I don't know why the Apaches did it or what goofy thing they had going. Maybe they're smoking dope, but they did it. But something like the sweat lodge, that's just something I thought of yesterday, that gets the lymphatic system moving and gets all these things out of you that you don't want. Anyhow, check out the Robert Morris. I've said this before. No one will, but at least I said it and it's off my chest. Don't believe that the cancer system that is out there now is the only way that these things can be dealt with. And like I said, I haven't pointed the finger at anyone. I'm not trying to offend anyone. Many people have had great success with what the doctors have done. I've seen otherwise, but that's just me. I just hope that hopefully this never happens to you, but if it does, you need to realize that this is not the only path available to you. But you need to learn what other paths are out there now before that event happens and they try to get you to do something in 24 hours. That's all I'm trying to say. Love you. God bless.